Round of applause for Brian Taraz and An Evening with Satan. Hey, thanks. Thanks a lot. Thank you, announcer. That was great. Well, one of the upsides about, okay, I promised myself I'd be more dialed in than last month. Last month was all over the place, but thank you very much for being here. Okay, everyone knows where the bathrooms are. We'll be doing about a 40-minute session at this point, followed by a 10-minute break or so you can socialize and see each other and meet and stuff. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, and followed by a second half, and then it'll end promptly at 9 because I'm going to just put my phone on to stop me, because otherwise it won't stop. Yeah, so this is called An Evening with Satan. I'm Brian Taraz. I know many of you folks here, and I thank you so much for coming here this evening. And it's not only about the $3. I mean, I'm on the fast track to success, and I'm going to be putting a down. I know that there's more to your time than the $3, and I appreciate the time you've taken to come downtown and visit. And a couple of folks I do not know. So what you're going to participate in, as such, if you will, is an exploration that I've been undertaking for a number of years now. And I don't know that any of it will make sense. If you're a person who needs a point to what's happening or why you're here or what you're doing, you may not be profoundly satisfied by the end of the evening. It may or may not have a point. Things may or may not happen. I'm hopeful that more or less everyone will leave as they've arrived and not be that much worse for wear and tear, $3 lighter in the pocket. However, if you find that your time is impinged on, do feel free to ask Ben for $1 back. I'm willing to do the $1 back. Those of you who came last month, and if you have your card still, hopefully got $1 off, so you're at $2. So if you got your little card, whoa. Angie, we have feedback. Do I need to eat the mic the whole time? No, it's okay. I just have feedback from him. I'm okay. It was the Lord. There'll be some Lord humor. I was asked at the beginning of this by one of the folks that was, oh, he's not here though. Okay, you didn't ask me that. There was a gentleman that had an Australian accent, whether or not I was like pro-God or anti-God or something like that. And it was just, and he didn't really care either way. It was just a curiosity question. I was like, well, if there's anyone that believes in God, it's Satan. I got bad news for those of you that are friends that are secular humanists. Satan cannot exist without a God. He shows up in the story written by this writer without hands and using people. So anyway, go God. The point was, yeah, so $2, you should get $1 off. By the same token, if you happen to be secretly fabulously wealthy and want to put more in the Igloo ice chest, by all means, feel free. Also, tomorrow is Ben's birthday. Ben, who is at the front door, and so forth. So, I'm going to start with just a song because that will be entertaining. Okay. Oh, no, you're right. Sorry, Naz. You're right. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm still Brian. So it's the show's called An Evening with Satan, hosted by Brian Taraz. Host is the root word of hostage. So just to put it in perspective, what may or may not be happening here. Naz, if you could go ahead and start us, I'll do my Zappo transformation. Turn up the volume. Oh, whatever.
Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple. Even the messenger of the covenant whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts.
It's not finished. It's not finished. Okay, whatever. Oh, okay, that's fine. It says, Occupy God begins now. You know, whatever. Next time, if you really are interested, you can go on YouTube. YouTube is available to most people. Okay, yeah, so, presto changeo. Satan, yes, please welcome the Lord of Dorkness. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play some music. People said to play music, and I'm going to go ahead and proceed in a manner that may or may not function in any kind of cogent thing. And they said, don't worry about it last time. They said, just go with it. And in about 15 minutes, you guys are going to be the first people to see on the screen a documentary that was made about Satan at home. Unbeknownst to me, 2 years ago, I invited someone to my house, and we were goofing around. I shouldn't even say that. No, it was a very serious production. And then about a few months ago, a person comes by and drops me off a CD, and there's this like 25-minute documentary of Satan at home. And those of you who know me know I'm a person that would never be able to afford a home, but I managed to have one. And it more or less, it looks exactly like when I got it in distress 4 years ago. But it's enough so that I don't get Child Protective Services on my butt. This is, this is from the Lamentations of Jeremiah. It's called Cut Off. Those of you who don't know, Jeremiah is one of those guys that's called a prophet in the Old Testament. If you ever happen to be got nothing better to do and you read the Jeremiah story, you find out before he was born, he was picked by God to be tormented for his whole life. Every now and then, God knocks on his shoulder and tells him to take off his clothes, sit in the gates of Jerusalem and piss there, as a metaphor. It was very stressful for him. I'm a man who has seen affliction by the rod of his wrath. Is this too loud or is it okay? He hath led me and brought me into darkness, but not into light. Surely against me is he turned. He turneth his hand against me all the day. My flesh and my skin hath he made old. He hath broken my bones. He hath broken my bones. He hath builded against me and compassed me with gall and travail. He hath set me in dark places, as they be dead of old. He hath hedged me about, that I cannot get out. He hath made my chain heavy. Also when I cry and shout, he shutteth out my prayer. He shutteth out my prayer. I am cut off. I am cut off. I am cut off. I am cut off. Okay, I'm going to stop here. You can clap. It's pretty good.
Yeah!
Thank you. And in future, I'll remember the next lyric. But it was pretty good. It gets all like intense and like, "All my ways, you made my paths crooked." But what happens is when it's scripture, it's just kind of, the Lord intervened there. It was a mighty intervention. Yes. So you, I think it was you, sir, that had asked me if it was a comedy show. So this is what I meant by where it could go. It has its moments. When you entered, here's what happened when you entered here. I don't know if you noticed on the floor before you entered was a thing that said state line. Any of you noticed that on the bottom? Anyway, also the flyer says this is the Southern Arizona Total Awareness Network presents. Okay, Southern Arizona Total Awareness Network, SATAN. Okay, just to go. Yeah. So the objective is here, and I guess because I'm feeling already that you'll see the video. The video is really coherent and beautifully done. So it's about like another 10 minutes of more or less whatever's happening now. But the net objective of this endeavor is to articulate to people, humanoid entities like myself more or less, that are in this space and time called Tucson circa 2016, that we are actually in a space and a time at a time that is precious. And that when you hear things like Tucson is the 5th poorest city in the United States, which was a piece of information that was some kind of poll or whatever, it's a real misunderstanding of what Tucson is about. And the thing is, the telescope is turned backwards. As people are here thinking about what other cities do and how other cities do, it's a misunderstanding that those cities have run their course. New York has run its course, San Francisco has run its course, Los Angeles has run its course. They are tapped out with top-heavy oligarchies and bottom-heavy lottery buying. I'm not poor anymore, even though I'm poor people because I have $1 and a dream. No one's poor anymore. There's no sacred poor. There's no horrible rich. It's a clusterfuck of humanity having a great time. I use the word fuck just so that you don't think I'm doing a religious thing, okay? So, I hope that's okay for that. What? An evening with Satan, it's not, a little bit of that has to happen. A couple of, here's one of the things is that in order to prevent myself from too much, okay, so you're here, you're in Tucson, here we are. Great city, there are, okay, it's gonna come. I'm gonna get my notes. It's family. It's kind of like family. Okay. All right. It's a work in progress. And the thing is, this is a work in progress. And the whole point of the matter is what has happened to us. I put some of these books out here because words, they are, it's a book. What we learned a long time ago is that, you see someone sitting there like this, and you think nothing's happening. But now, thanks to modern science, we understand that our brains are nervous systems full of electricity, and they're shooting. If you do meditation, they put a thing on there, they can see an orange part here doing blah, blah, blah. Or, you have an emotional reaction, and there's endorphins shooting, and like, I can stand like this, and it's a whole factory of whatever the hell's going on. And this is amazing. This is amazing because people didn't know this in times past. And what happens is, I'm gonna ask you a question. Plumb, pronounce it. Okay, and if you add an ER? Right. DUMB? And if you're more than that? Okay, NUMB? Right. And you add an ER? Number. It's not a fucking number. Who added the B? We're not number people. Number is what machine uses. Number is what corporate entities use. Number is the brain of the beast that eats us every day and tries to convince us and dazzle us. I can only count to this fucking many. That's just the way it is. I'm a symbol-based entity. And people go, oh, it's just symbolic. Yeah, it's fucking symbolic. It's a symbol, it's a sign, it's a meaningful squiggle and a dance movement and an articulation and all that more or less means something to other entities like myself, and that's whatever. But somewhere we discovered numbers, and don't get me wrong, numbers are great-ish, sort of. And then I was meditating on this and I thought to myself, look, here's the fucking deal. There's only one number. And when people say we are all one, it's like a literal mathematical fact, because it's like there's one chair, and there's another one chair, and there's another one chair, and there's another one, and another. And so just for ease of operation, we use a number for the one, and the other one, and the one, and the one. But at any given time, anything you look at, any person you look at, any apple you look at, any orange you look at is a one. And we are all one. This is all one. This is one fucking thing. Until you, whatever. This makes me not invited to parties often. This does not lend itself to a sustained marital construct. And I think, and so that's the other thing. I'll say, there's the thing about Tucson here. For those of you who don't know, our latitude here in Tucson is about the same as, I don't care if you stand out there with the sign you call it Palestine or Israel, who gives a fuck, whatever. That place there where shit happens a lot, or is historically, and still percolating in the whatever, it's the same latitude here. This is about the latitude of either like Nazareth or Tel Aviv or something like that. And it's also really dry. And I live down by the frickin' wash on 22nd near the Kettle Restaurant. And it's summer, and today I'm driving my Volvo, and if I didn't have my big QT cup with water and ice, I'd be seeing a burning bush somewhere, you know? And that's in 45 minutes. Can you imagine you're 80 years old walking through the desert and you're hanging out and then it's like, whoa, the thing is burning, but it's not burning. And then you're Jesus and you go out for 40 days in the desert? Hello? You know, Muhammad in a cave with a bunch of sand? This is a sunstroke-based religion. Heat stroke-based. And so, and that's why it has very unusual adaptations in other parts of the world. And that's another way to look at it. It's not a matter, it doesn't diminish anything, it doesn't negate anything. It's simply sometimes when we want to access higher truth. And I know in this audience right now, there are a couple of practitioners of accessing higher truth through various means. And, but all those who do access higher truth through various means, oftentimes we'll have to create a condition or a situation that is a little bit different than the normative, I'm going to Starbucks, going to work, going to be traumatized by something on TV, blah, blah, blah. And so sometimes the big life energy force provides very big ones, very available ones, like sun scorching at noon, you know, and they say, well, I'm gonna fast now. I know, I won't eat or drink and burn in the sun. I may see something. And so in that way, things are seen and things are worked out. And then now that we have this modern time we're in, I like to think of this as the latter days. People hear this word latter days. It's a very, very nice word. It's a latter days. You like all so professional, so exotically King Jamesian. And yet here we are, the latter days. And with all these people together of different cultures and races that have come and squished together. This is what makes America great. America's a great place where everyone spilled their blood together. Whether it was Indians or Anglos or Chinese or Africans brought in boats or Mexicans, they all kill each other and spill blood onto the soil. The Civil War was great. It was people just, yeah, let's water this country of so-called manifest destiny. And what happens is, it really is a country of manifest destiny. We have managed to, over 100 years, in our innocence and naivete, gouge the rest of the world for its rubber, its oil, its bananas, its people, its, you know, eat them up, and then spit out Nikes and tell them they can't afford it, ha ha ha. And then now, all of a sudden, they're going, oh, why are you angry at us? I'm only 53 years old. I was not a slave owner. But, you know, there's a system in place that has had a history. And there's a process happening now that is profound. And like Star Wars, shit, I can't believe I'm referencing Disney. God, I hate fucking Disney. Still, it didn't used to be Disney in the old days. Anyway, and even then, it's still fucking. But this whole metaphor, it's kind of like we have our stories that we've told ourselves in commercial, postmodern, cultural, hyper-electronic modalities, like Star Wars, Big Death Star, and one little Achilles heel, and then it blows up. But yeah, you guys are here in the screening room. Here I am. All that's necessary to process whatever is happening in the world is right here. Each one of you is like a hyperlink. You're not a book by your cover anymore. That shit's old. Talk to the kids. Everyone here is a hyperlink. When you go outside, even if the guy's all like, you got 30 cents because I need to fucking da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to mock anyone, but I did. But Satan can do shit like that. The thing is, you take a moment, take that extra moment, you go, look, here's what I got, 25 cents. 5 cents you gotta earn. Tell me who the fuck you are. Don't give me your name, Nappy Spappy, or whatever the hell it is, you know? And all of a sudden you'll find out there's, oh, well, I was a philosophy professor at Yale, and then all of a sudden my wife left me, and I gambled for 10 weeks, and then I lost all my teeth because and I live in a wash. And you can choose to believe or not believe, but everyone here is like an amazing collection of fucking eternal molecular shit. And if you really look at it, there's no one here that's actually the age they are. My daughter's 15. She's up in the booth. Hey, Naz, I feel strongly, yes. We love you, Naz. We love you, Naz. You're part of the future, baby. I'm 53. But the reality is, if you meditate on it, if you want to, is that I'm a continuous, my parents were before me, so I came out of them. They were before someone else. So I'm like a continuous line of not having extincted since the beginning, since there were fucking people. I imagine. And if I, you know what I mean? Like whatever tree I came out of, which it looks like a tree you came out of, it seems like it's not the vanity that the world teaches you is I'm on the top and there's a pyramid underneath me of genealogy. I don't know if that's the right math. It kind of like would seem to be that a lot of people came before to make this possible, and whatever strain that you came from, we're fucking lucky. So I'm thinking I'm about like 40 to 50,000 years old, really. That's about the intuitive database of genetic development that is currently trying to make sense at this point. Maybe not successfully. So, I should play another song. Oh no. Let me see what time it is though. Okay, that's good. Time is a good one. Yeah, that's the only point of having an iPhone. It's like, it's a clock, it's an overpriced clock. Oh, it's 8 o'clock, holy shit. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Just because, we just got started, but you know what, we'll never end, and that's the whole point. The whole point is, why are we all running around all the time to go here, there, there? You got people that live over here, that like work over there, and you got people that work there and live here, and it's like, holy shit, folks. Anyone here, no matter, it doesn't make a difference who the fuck you are, you're born naked, and you only got one currency, it's time, time. And in the second half, I will share with you some wisdom, some actual wisdom that I made up myself as to the nature of time, the afterlife, what's happening, blah, blah, blah. But in the meantime, though, since to avoid more incoherency and just blabbing, fuck, okay, that's just a Satan reference. Okay, Angie, it's 8 o'clock. Let's do that movie. We'll turn off the lights. I'm going to click off this mic so that we don't get feedback. Then after it goes to black and the lights come up, like 10 minutes, have a drink, use the bathroom or something. We'll come back and we'll finish at 9, and I'll try and be so much more coherent by that time. Are you having a good time so far? Yeah! Okay, this is a movie called, it's time for... Okay, it's time for an Arch House. Thank you. Yeah, right, good. Okay, bye. That's my daughter. One moment, ladies and gentlemen. Hope to get a chance to see you doing something like this, or maybe meeting, or something like that, or hopefully that works out. Would be nice. All right, love you. That was pretty fun. That I get a sense that it was an enjoyable piece. It's the first time anyone's ever watched this, so that's really awesome. Thank you very much. Another hand for the community. just to let you know, the gentleman who made this movie is the gentleman who's back there, Bob Torres, who you may have met out front with the camera, and he's videotaping. And we met a couple of years ago, and the basis of our bonding is Brian Taraz, BT, Bob Torres, BT. So it's deep. That's depth. Okay. So this is something. Okay. Right now I have to change something to make it much better for everyone here. Okay. I'm speaking like this now for a minute. My question to you is, if you have some kind of question from movie or something to share with me for 5 minutes only, not too much, not chance for you to put forth your ideology, fuck your ideas right now. Mostly, if you have question, always wonder some wisdom you want to ask from knowledge person. I not mean fuck your wisdom is beautiful too, everyone. Please, sir.
When did you film that?
This was filmed 2 years ago, 2014, right?
You said in the movie, yeah.
Yes. It's 2 years ago. It came as joke almost, kind of. My friend come, he said, look, I have camera, I want to practice something. I said, okay, I'm a single man, I have nothing to do. And so this happened. And then some 3 months ago, he come by my house, he said, look, I made movie from this one. So this was encouragement for me to come and say, look, maybe something happening.
Maybe that leads to when did you begin the satanic process?
Oh, thank you. Satanic is strong word.
Yes.
I only wear t-shirt. I'm not worship myself. Why I worship myself? I'm not interested. I'm not interested in anyone to worship me either. Don't need no follower or something. But I check, oh yes. But maybe, good question. Okay, so this is, how did this start? Okay, many years ago, in the course of growing up, working through processes of belief and doctrines that were given to me, observations of life, what I conceived as hypocrisies and you liars, then I conceived later as weaknesses because it was convenient for me, as I find out that I'm weak and not a hypocrite. But after going through a divorce, which if you've ever seen Sam Kinison talks that there's nothing, hell is not nearly as bad as a divorce. I was in LA and Obama had just been elected. And it was funny because everyone was like treating that, if you go back 8 years, it was like, oh my God, it was like Jesus. He was like, change, and so it was like, okay, those guys that were there before, it was like Bush or somebody or whoever. It was like, so Satan was out of a job now that Obama was elected. And so I thought, well, what would Satan do? I said, he'd do stand-up comedy. And I happened to be in LA. And so I looked online and no one was doing Satanist stand-up comedy. And I wasn't, there was one guy in Oklahoma, but he did a thing with like a mask and horns and a cigar and an unbuckled belt and all, Satan, har, har, har. And I'm like, that's not a comedian, that's a comic. I would be a comedian, I would say. So I just thought, all it is this, I got this shirt, and I went with my daughter and got some press-ons. And then I went to Laugh's Comedy Store, and when I went in, I didn't want to presume, because comedy is so hard. If you guys have ever seen comedy, it's one of the hardest things ever, to have a microphone, a bunch of people that are like, you're gonna make me laugh. And it's horrible. It's really, I did it once, like 25 years ago in La Jolla at the Comedy Store, and it was, the first time I did it was good because it was like spontaneous. The second time I did it, it was horrible because it was like 2 in the morning. There was one Filipino guy with 2 chicks on each arm heckling everyone. By the time I got up, I had a little too much to, whatever, and it was bad. Anyway, but then I decided I was going to do comedy, and so I went and I did it like for a couple of months, and no one was impressed. And there you go. And then I was doing my scripture music downtown, wearing my Satan shirt, and it's amazing. No, I've never had a problem with Satan ever. There's no one ever come with me and go, what do you do with your Satan shirt? And they're like, can I take a picture with you? I'm like, okay. So Tucson's got to be the place. Yeah. So yes, and then it's like one of those things like with who's the guy that played Superman and slowly started to think he was Superman and jumped off the building? Something like that. I'm not there yet, Still a t-shirt as far as I'm concerned. But I do have a master plan, so thank you, sir. Thank you with the hat. The gentleman with the hat. Excellent question. Yes, ma'am, please.
I was wondering if you could how would you describe it? I ask because I know you know, and I want to learn from you.
And so this moment between the first question was what it says in Isaiah, the still quiet voice. There you go. So the rest of it is commentary. So I mean, essentially, there's no. I'm not ready for that yet. Not ready to reveal that information. It's a tricky thing because really, it is as to be. There's Nietzsche. Time for Nietzsche. Okay, hold on. Nietzsche will tell you something, and we'll see what Nietzsche says. 8:48, that's good, you got about like 12 more minutes. See, I gotta read some Nietzsche real fast. One of these days, okay, this is what I like to, okay, so one of the things I love to do is I would love to do Nietzsche reading, presenting dramatically, thus spoke Zarathustra. I don't know if there's a market for it, but there's a lot more of a market for it than I thought there was. And the thing is, it's all about the body. I want to speak to the despisers of the body. This is on the despisers of the body. I want to speak on the to the despisers of the body. I would not have them learn and teach differently, but merely say farewell to their own bodies, and thus become silent. Body am I and soul, thus speaks the child. And why should one not speak like children? But the awakened and knowing say, body am I entirely, and nothing else. And soul is only a word for something about the body. The body is a great reason, a plurality with one sense, a war and a peace, a herd and a shepherd. An instrument of your body is also your little reason, my brother, which you call spirit, a little instrument and toy of your great reason. I, you say, and are proud of the word, but greater is that in which you do not wish to have faith, your body and its great reason, that does not say I, but does I. What the sense feels, what the spirit knows, never has its end in itself, but sense and spirit would persuade you that they are the end of all things. That is how vain they are. Instruments and toys are sense and spirit. Behind them still lies the self. The self also seeks with the eyes of the senses. It also listens with the ears of the spirit. Always the self listens and seeks. It compares, overpowers, conquers, destroys. It controls, and it is in control of the ego too. Behind your thoughts and feelings, my brother, there stands a mighty ruler and unknown sage whose name is self. In your body he dwells, he is your body. There is more reason in your body than in your best wisdom, and who knows why your body needs precisely your best wisdom. Your self laughs at your ego and its bold leaps. What are these leaps and flights of thought? To me, it says to itself, a detour to my end. I am the leading strings of the ego and the prompter of its concepts. The self says to the ego, feel pain here. Then the ego suffers and thinks how it might suffer no more. And that is why it is made to think. The self says to the ego, feel pleasure here. Then the ego is pleased and thinks how it might often be pleased again. And that is why it is made to think. I want to speak to the despisers of the body. It is their respect that begets their contempt. What is it that created respect and contempt and worth and will? The creative self created respect and contempt. It created pleasure and pain. The creative body created the spirit as a hand for its will. Even in your folly and contempt, you despisers of the body, you serve yourself. I say unto you, yourself itself wants to die and turns away from life. It is no longer capable of what it would do above all else, to create beyond itself. That is what it would do above all else. That is its fervent wish, to create beyond itself. But now it is too late for it to do this. So yourself wants to go under, O despisers of the body. Yourself wants to go under, and that is why you have become despisers of the body, for you are no longer able to create beyond yourselves. And that is why you are angry with life and the earth. And unconscious envy speaks out of the squint-eyed glance of your contempt. I shall not go your way, O despisers of the body. You are no bridge to the overman. Thus spoke Zarathustra. Which is not to say you're a despiser of the body. I'm not saying you're a despiser of the body. This is a reference to late 1800s Germany, but it's not very different what Nietzsche was writing as to what's happening now. So, I share one more song, maybe, yeah? And thank you very much, thank you. And I put in context, hopefully next month I'll do this again. I'm hoping at different times to create something like a little salon or something like that, where there could be a relaxed 3 or 4 hour window with 6 or 7 folks sharing and interfacing, and maybe over some tea, coffee, absinthe, heroin, whatever, you know, whatever the parameters are they're covered. Different groups. Those that don't want to be in the heroin group don't have to show up that day. But and to sort of unpack and unfold some of these things. But right now, so much is happening. There is, when I started this, you said about Satan. There is a passage in the Bible says, and when we see the abomination that maketh desolate. I do a lot of wordplay, so it's the abomination that maketh desolate. We are that abomination. It's not old Greek and Hebrew. We bombed the fuck out of Hiroshima and we made desolate. Not once, but then Nagasaki. Until next month, there's never been an American president gone to fucking Hiroshima. And who's going? Obama. We've had 8 years of the Obama-nation, which some people have thought was a desolation. And now in the books of Revelation, it talks about the trumpet blast at the last time. And who's this guy? Trump. Whether you agree, like, or whatever, it's a wake-up of consciousness or something. And other places don't have the opportunity that we have in Tucson. Sitting here, there are people that are fucking smart and give a shit and are doing and caring. And the thing is, there isn't the heavy oligarchs over this place. Anyone here could run this town. I intend to run for running of the town. So thank you very much. And the thing is, the way you run a thing anymore is different than the way it used to be. What happens is, we are a mature mankind. We're going through a collective adolescence. What we see of the trauma is the end of time of our childhood. We all have the same DNA. We live on the same fucking planet. God has left the building. Essentially, this is my position. Does God exist? Absolutely. God is done. God gave his only begotten son. He gave us whatever. And he says, look, you guys fucking have it here. What do you want to do? You want to keep searching for deep space and hope something's better than the place you're here? You keep wanting to have afterlife visions and then piss on this reality? That's your deal, but you're not going anywhere. We're here. Let's hang out. Let's have a good time. So this is the 23rd psalm, usually sung in funerals. This will be our going out song. Thank you, Naz. Thank you, the screening room. Thank you, you folks. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
It making me lie down in green pastures. He did me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. He did me in the paths of righteousness for the name's sake. Yeah. Of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and a mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Forever. Thank you folks for coming out. You guys are so fucking awesome. I think we're good for a little while. If you guys want to mingle with each other, I think they're good for a little spell in the front of the house till, half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever. If you want to, whatever, those little flyers in the front have my phone number, email, or you can just write your name and put it in the bucket, and then we'll get in touch.
You gonna do this monthly, Brian?
I'm gonna do. It's gonna next month. I believe I'll be doing this type of thing, but it'll be a repeat more or less, but probably not because I can't keep it consistent. So, thank you. Thank you, Nazareth. Thank you very much for. So did it work out? What's your experience? Awesome. Yeah. You survived?
I survived.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll talk. Okay. We'll share it all. Okay. Bless you. Thank you. Namaste.
So, stick that, not where it'll get lost.
So, thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you came too. Thank you. Thank you. They just moved here from Mexico, and this is their first experience with folks.